Hi, this is Garage Geek, and welcome to Friday Night Chats. Now, I have to first apologize to all the Garagettes out there because last week I didn't post a Friday night video. I was really tired from school. I think something just caught up with me, and then the outcry started pouring in. I got so many messages screaming, "Where's a Friday night chat?" I got people gnashing their teeth and beating their breasts and pulling their hair. It was like a Trojan War tragedy. I don't know. A few people threw themselves off of rooftops. They sustained injuries, but they're fine. I won't do that again. I'm going to try to meet my deadline and have my videos out Friday nights so that you won't suffer, okay? I will do this. Now, today was the last day of school with students. So, no more students for the next couple months. I'm very excited, although I have to go into work on Monday. Like, just let it be over, right? Like, it's done. Let it be done. Don't say, okay, yeah, all the kids are done, but you're going to come on Monday and just sit around for 5, 6, 7 hours doing basically nothing. It's okay. I can get through this. I can get through this, right? It's no, shaking the camera. So I'm kind of like done, but almost not quite. It's kind of like being in limbo. So let's jump in. What am I going to talk about tonight? No, first off, I was going to do show some vinyl that I bought, but it ended up I went yesterday and today after work just to kind of detox. I went to 2 local record stores and I ended up buying a big stack. So I'm actually going to do a haul video tomorrow. I just watched T-Cat's Deep Vinyl Tracks haul, and his haul puts mine to shame. Everybody's haul puts mine to shame because they are showing all these vinyl that they bought, and you know they're pristine and they're brand new and they each cost $20, $30, $40. So you're gonna see all my dollar records if you tune into that one. Way to hype my next video, right? Well, look at it this way. What did I get for $1? Let's see if you would want to buy those or not. Most people say no, they wouldn't want to buy them. Okay, let's move on. We're gonna start with a movie that I watched last night, Europa Report. Now, this is on so many kind of best of, need to watch kind of lists for sci-fi. And so I decided to watch it last night, and I realized as I was watching it that I'd seen it before. Now, this is kind of a low budget movie, but for the budget that it has, it looks really good. And the story is solid. The actors, you're going to recognize most of them. It's a solid group of actors. It's just, I don't know how innovative this story is. It kind of, to me, it's very well done. The movie's good. The story's not bad. It just doesn't seem to do anything really new with the story. So I'm going to leave it at that. I would recommend this movie if you like sci-fi. It is a good movie, well acted. The special effects are fun. It's just, I had kind of forgotten that I'd seen it before. So that should tell you a lot right there. But yeah, I do recommend it. I watched a 4 episode documentary. I believe it's on HBO Max. Yeah, it is. It's on HBO Max. It's the 100 Years of Warner Brothers, and I actually really enjoyed it. Each episode is an hour, and it goes through the history. So the first one, this one's kind of, it's blurry. But the first episode was about the founding of the company and the 4 brothers, and it's a really crazy story. Now, I've heard many stories about how controlling Jack Warner was and the things that he would do, and they kind of outline that in the episode, and it has a very sad ending, that whole story. So, I would recommend this series, and it made me want to watch all these movies. So it's kind of like a huge promotion for all the Warner Brother movies. And, you know, you've seen so many of them already, but you want to dive in and watch them again. It's a really well put together documentary. So the first episode was the founding of the company up until they started having a lot of troubles and they had to move in a new direction. And I think the second one was I think the second one was Clint Kubrick and Kryptonite. So the idea behind the thread or the theme that goes through this is that Warner Brothers would always treat their artists with respect, but they would also try to get money makers so that they would have enough money to allow the artists to do what they want. They wanted to develop long-term relationships, and they did that with Clint Eastwood and Stanley Kubrick. But then of course they had big blockbuster movies like Superman to keep them going. The next one was moving into the wizarding world. So Harry Potter, the Harry Potter phenomenon, and how they moved into television. And then the final one, oh no, this was the third one, and I think this one was the final one. Oh gosh, I'm all messed up. So then this is more of a foray into superhero movies and the Batman phenomenon, and then the Friends TV show. So they moved into television. Okay, I messed that up. But anyways, I highly recommend that documentary. If you have HBO Max, you should watch it. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. I also watched the documentary called Moon Age Daydream about David Bowie. And actually, I still have about 15 to 20 minutes left to watch. This documentary is weird. Okay, so it felt like I was watching a Stanley Kubrick movie. It's very artsy at the beginning, and I have no problem with that, but I thought I was going to watch a documentary, and for like the first 20-25 minutes, it's like watching one of these weird student films. I don't know. I'm going to grab a sip of my coffee. I don't know if they were like clips from video, like his music videos, but it was all strange and experimental. Now, if you go into the documentary knowing that, you might really enjoy it, but at the beginning I was just like kind of confused. So I'm watching a documentary about David Bowie, and I'm watching like strange, weird, I don't know, like like lots of colors flashing across this. I don't know. It was just a weird opening. Now, it slowly starts to weave in concert footage and interview clips. And it becomes very, very interesting. It's just that beginning is so surprising because it's so long and it takes so long to get somewhere. Maybe some people will hail this as genius. It took me by surprise. I'm not going to say I hated it. I think you need to have the right mindset when you start watching this, right? Just, smoke some pot maybe before watching it and you'll be fine. So I watched this about 2 weeks ago, but it was after my last video, and it's Shazam, the second one, and it's called Fear of the Gods. I can't recommend this one. Now, of course, it's got amazing special effects. It's got some great actors in it. It's got Helen Mirren. It's got Lucy Liu, Djimon Hounsou. Now, Helen Mirren's amazing, and she's good in this movie for what she has to do. She acts the hell out of that part, but the movie's just dumb. And like Lucy Liu, I really felt she was wasted in this movie. They could have got anyone to do what she did. It was just such a bad role. Yeah, I mean, if you like DC movies and you saw the first one, you're going to watch this one anyway, especially if you have, free streaming, but I don't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend this movie. But one movie that I can recommend is, surprisingly, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Now, my husband was like, "Oh, let's watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie," and I was like, "Okay, he gets to pick, so I'm gonna watch it." I was surprised. It was intelligent and it's a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Okay, you got to take what I'm gonna say with a grain of salt, right? It's a Dungeons and Dragons movie. But from there, it's kind of like it's for teens or a little bit. It's really like for like older kids. But it's really funny and it's well done. Now, by the end of the movie, I was like, I could guess what was going to happen, and it was just kind of wearing on. Like the last, like the climax part of the movie was, I was ready for it to be done. But up until that point, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and so I'm going to say that this one is about an 8 out of 10. I would recommend this movie. Go in. This is a perfect popcorn movie. That's a good way to describe it. It's got Chris Penn in it. He's really good. It's got, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know her name. She's in so many things. I'll just show you her face. I think she's been in the Fast and Furious, right? I think. And she's been in a couple things. She's really good. And then it's got Hugh Grant too. All right. I thought I'd try something new. Oh, my hair is like all weird. Whenever I find interesting pictures on the internet, I kind of save them. And so I thought, why not share them? So I found that picture and I just thought it was beautiful. Now, it's probably manufactured because I've seen people on on YouTube when they explain how they make pictures like that. They take eyedroppers and they put each individual dot there. So even if it's manufactured, someone put all that time into, arranging all those water droplets. I thought that was a pretty picture. I was looking at this website of like really bad album covers, like Jesus Use Me. The Faith Tones. Look at those hairdos and then the title, Jesus Use Me. Jesus is going to have a lawsuit on his hand, right? Some kind of abuse trial. This one is do you know Jesus? Do you know Jesus? What the hell? What is going on with these people? Who puts out an album? Do you know Jesus? And they got... Is this Jesus? Like, are they introducing us to him? Oh my gosh. And he's got a name. It says featuring Randy or Woody or something. Maybe his name is Woody. That would make sense. Uncle Les and Aunt Nancy Wheeler. I'm staying away from them. Nope. Oh, Lord. Let me touch him. Let me touch him. Oh, my God. Which one of them want to be touched? Okay, this is weird. Let me touch him. Oh, okay. That's hysterical. Let me touch him. It's been a long week, people. I thought that was a cool picture. So there you go. Look, if I can get it set up right, that's almost my, what do you call that? That would be like my screenshot right there. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Oh, I went to the Hollywood Bowl for the mariachi last weekend. That's another reason I didn't make a video, because I went out. I had plans on, but that was Saturday, I think. I drank too much. Ugh. Here's another picture. So it's in the Hollywood Hills, and that's the Hollywood Bowl, and you can see the performers are there on the stage. So basically, they bring out so many mariachi groups, one after the other. This event goes on for like 5 or 6 hours. So there you go. You can see the Hollywood Hills in the background. Right here actually is another venue. It's called the Ford Theater. I've seen Leela Downs there. I've seen other people there too. So here you can see it's getting darker because it goes on and on. And they have giant screens. You could see we were way back up in the stands. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter because they bring alcohol and you just sit there and drink the whole night. Oh, here's after the concert, they do fireworks. Watch, if I go back, you can see the fireworks moving. Oh, there's some more. Wait, that's good. Watch when you turn the picture. Yeah. So fireworks over the bowl. Okay, so those are some random pictures. Now, I think the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight is this. I always do that, right? I think that's the last thing. Now, I'm going to talk to you about Orhan Pamuk's Nights of Plague. So, Orhan Pamuk is, I believe, a Turkish writer. I could be wrong about that. Okay, sorry. But he won the Nobel Prize, and this is not his first book that I've read. But this book, so let me explain the other book I read for him. For sure, I've read at least one other, and it was very dreamlike. This person is searching for an elusive book throughout the city, throughout the whole book, and he and the person that he's with, they keep getting on buses and trams, and they keep smashing and colliding, and people are always dying on these trams, but he keeps getting on them anyway. He keeps going all over the city. It's, like I said, it's very dreamlike. It was very long. I'm going to say that Orhan Pamuk is not for me. He's not a bad writer at all. Not at all. It's just his style is not for me. Okay, it's just not something that I gravitate toward, but he's not a bad writer. Now, since he's won the Nobel Prize, I decided to read this story, or maybe my friend mentioned it. I can't remember. Maybe my friend said she wanted to read it, or I know I'm trying to read more of the Nobel Prize winners. So this book is called Nights of Plague, and I thought, well, that sounds interesting. Now, this book is 29 hours in audio. It took me a long time to finish it. Now, I want you to think about that. 29 hours. That is over a solid day of listening. Right? So if you're reading, it would take quite a long time. Now, I do listen at double speed, so let's just say it took me 15 hours, 14 hours. It's like quite a chunk of time, right, to devote to a book. Now, I actually started it. I got through like 25%, and then I had to return the book, and then I got it back again. Let me go ahead and take a sip. And I'm going to say that this book wasn't boring. I would never say it was boring. It was hard to hold my interest. The thing that was interesting is that it would shift topics a lot. And it's very political. So it's basically a fake history. The main character of the book is telling the history of a country, an island nation, which is fictional, called Mingaria. And it goes through a time when a plague led to a new government for their independence, right? So it's kind of that whole historical background. And again, it's not real, but it feels real. Like, this book has so much detail that you feel like this is real history. So I guess I'm going to have to say, like, this writer is really talented. It's just that it's not something I normally gravitate toward. He's a really, really great writer. But, politics and, governments and revolutions and, all those things, it's just not, my cup of tea. Now, I thought what would pull me in is the plague descriptions. And to be honest, even though it's there, it's not central. And so we never really, we do get glimpses, and we do get some, discussion of it and some descriptions, but it's not enough to keep someone like me that's what I want. Like, I want to know what it was really like, to live through a time of plague, and what it was like for, common people, and the quarantine and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, for what it is, it's a very, very good book. And I'm not going to say that I would recommend this book for everyone. Number one, it's so long. And number two, it's about history of the politics and government, and there was a lot of religion that tied in, because the religion and the government kind of went hand in hand, and there were different religious, there were Muslims, and then there were Christians, Orthodox Greek, I I guess they were Jews. I can't remember. But anyways, the government constantly had to appease them because, the people were in quarantine and they didn't want to stop going to church. And I remember that during COVID, like that was a huge thing. Like people who wanted to go to church did not want to observe quarantine. I remember that clearly. So it was even worse, described in this novel because, people did not want to give up their religious practices because they actually thought that helped them from the plague in some instances. So anyways, if you're a fan of the Nobel Prize or you're a fan of political novels, then you will like this. I'm glad I'm finally done with it. I really pushed through it. I was not going to stop it. Number one, because it wasn't a bad novel at all. So I pushed myself through it. I got through it. I would definitely read more by this writer. He's an important writer. But I wouldn't read them back to back. Like I would read one novel every year or every 2 years. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm at 21 minutes. That's a good place to stop. I'm not gonna go over my albums that I got. Oh, what did I listen to? I'm gonna throw this on at the end, but I really should speak more on this. I've been listening to those jazz collections that I got, and one of them is the one recommended by oh, I'm off the top of my head. It's a catchy title, his channel, but he recommended the West Side Story one that I've been listening to, and I'm really enjoying it. Sorry, my brain is turning to mush. Maybe it's better if I just end it here and I don't talk about what I've been listening to. But maybe I'll talk about that next week. So everybody, I want to say thank you for your support. If you've been with me this long, yeah, you could see like my brain is just turning to mush. The last couple of weeks of school are just very draining. Hopefully that's going to be done next week. You're going to see a garage geek who is fresh and ready to go. I was off work for most of the week. I'm going to have lots of energy to do my Friday Night Chats. But again, I want to say, again, thank you for all your support.